All right, how you guys doing?
Good, Ryan. Hope you're well, man. I want to ask you about your safety play. Kirby Joseph and Sidney Brown seem to be playing really, really good football for you. So, how did they kind of settle into your two guys back there, and specifically into those free safety and strong safety roles you got them in?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that they've done is just the amount of communication that takes place um, to break tendencies to how they're rotating depending on what the coverage is, depending on what the formation is. They're how they're adjusting emotions and things like that. They they're in constant communication during the film session, and it translates to the practice field, and so they're really clean, and they break a lot of tendencies on game day. And I'll be honest, there'll be times if I don't have the call on the bottom of the screen, pre-snap when I'm watching the tape, I can't tell what they're in either, because it all looks the same. That's just a testament to them really honing in on the details of what looks we're trying to present to the offense, and then them executing it and doing so at a high level right now.
You guys have really cut down on big pass plays with Kirby back there, and Sidney just seems like he's roaming around everywhere. Like, what kind of dynamic do they give you at that group, and how have they impacted your defense during this great stretch?
Yeah, obviously we're doing our best as a staff to try to put them in situations that cater to their strengths. Kirby is a guy with tremendous ball skills. He's got great range. So you want him to be the overlap piece as much as possible. Sidney is fast, he's compact, he's physical. So you want him in those situations as much as possible as well. And so as long as those things marry up with the looks we're trying to present from a schematic standpoint, then it bodes well. And I think that aspect of what we're doing defensively is really allowed them to flourish and be confident in how they're playing because of what they're asked to do.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Ryan, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago about how being with Coach B made you appreciate second down a lot more than you had in your career. I think 4 or 5 of your 6 sacks on Saturday came on second down. Is there a chain effect to winning first down and allowing yourself to have those opportunities on second down, or is it just kind of something else that you figured out on second down that has allowed you guys to have so much success?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, Coach B's emphasis on second down, it allows you to find tendencies, right? And so if you're successful on first down and are getting into some, hold on, you just got a little pop up, and you're getting into some second and longers, some teams have tendencies, and so if you study those throughout the week, especially if they're in a second and longer on a certain area of the field in a certain personnel group, you can kind of get an educated guess on what you're going to see, and that dictates what you call. So I think that's why we were advantageous on some of those second downs, because of the situations that Minnesota was in that they had shown previously, throughout the course of the season.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, another opportunity during a bye week to do some recruiting for yourself and the defensive staff. Can you just talk to what the focus is going to be this week, recruiting wise?
Yeah, we're going to get out. Obviously, we're trying to get better here first to finish out the season. We've got two more games to try to reach postseason play. And so, what we're doing right now is focusing on Illinois and what we need to do better from a fundamental standpoint, with sprinkling in some of Iowa's, early down offense. But from a recruiting standpoint, we're going to go see some targeted kids that we feel are close, that feel immediate needs, to help us through the spring, and in order to fill some holes from guys that will move on and graduate from the program this offseason. So that'll be our focus, and it's very similar to our bye week leading up to Penn State. That formula seemed to work, and so we're sticking to it.
Have you had an opportunity yet to comb through the transfer portal and start, screening that for some kids that might fit for you?
Absolutely. The transfer portal is ever evolving, as you guys know. So you got to stay ahead of the curve. Our recruiting department does a great job of filtering through those things, and identifying guys that we need to watch and need to find out more about. So, you know, that's a daily response.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, in the player rotations on Saturday, I think it was like Seth Coleman had about 20 snaps. Prather Hudson had around 15. Every other backup was single digits. So it seems like it's gotten more and more starters as we've gone along here. Has that been a schematic thing of, hey, these are our guys and they know our defense? Or, you know, is there a line where maybe, you know, so many snaps and a guy's going to need a breather? How do you determine that?
Yeah, you know, obviously the starters are starters for a reason, right? And so as much as they can play, you allow them to. You have certain packages that get other people involved. You mentioned Prather. You know, his snaps came and when we were in our dime package, you know, on third downs and in some 2-minute situations. And then, you know, my philosophy has always been like, you've got a starter and you have a backup, right? And so at what point does the starter's play get affected to where that backup is going to be better for your team? That might be an injury that causes him not to play as well. It might be, you know, a 13-play drive where he's now tired and his play will not be as high as a fresh backup. And those are all things that each position coach needs to keep an eye on throughout the course of the game. And we're in constant communication, you know, in between series. And during a series, you know, if we get a sub that comes in and we have a chance to sub as well. So that's kind of been our philosophy, you know, like you got a starter, he's taking most of the reps during the course of the week and you know, he has been deemed a starter for a reason. So you try to ride them as long as their play is still elevated, you know, above the guy that's behind them.
So for guys like, I think Kirby played every snap, Spoon played every snap. I think maybe Carney played every snap or close to it. When you're talking about this kind of thing, that's a situation where their conditioning is there. You want them in there every play, and there's kind of no limit to what they could do in a game like this.
Right, like, you know, I think Sydney and Kirby, they both played. You know, just speaking in my room specifically, they both played all 72 snaps. And there wasn't ever a time like, you know, they'll look at you and say, "Hey, man, I need a breather." But there was never a time where, you know, I felt like they were tired enough to get out of the game, and they obviously didn't ask to be taken out of the game. Especially you got a tight game like that. You know, it's a 2-possession game, the entire game. So you want your guys to be out there as much as possible.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ryan, I wanted to follow up on Sydney because, I mean, PJ Fleck kind of likened him to Troy Polamalu. I would assume it's not all because of the hair. I mean, this guy does a lot of moving pre-snap.
Yeah.
What does his skill set allow you to do defensively with either what you can disguise or how you go about things before the snap?
Yeah, you know, it's not only his skill set, man, it's his intellect. Like he is a very sharp individual. He studies the game. And he's gotten better as the course of the years gone on. And really he was playing the cat and mouse game with the quarterback all you know, throughout the duration of the game. And so just his wherewithal to know when and where, you know, he can cheat and when he can be aggressive, you know, all those things are allowing him to play fast. And he's got the skill set to do everything. Like you know, I've been very impressed with him, not only as a young man, but as an athlete. Like he really takes care of his body. You know, he's always doing you know, prehab and recovery. And you know, he's walking around with a beach body all day long. He's ready for summer right now. So you know, he's a special kid. He's wired the right way. He's what you want, especially in the secondary with his mental aptitude at that position.
What kind of trust do you guys have to cultivate, I guess, between yourselves to allow him to play that cat and mouse game? You know, you knowing he's not going to make an error and him, you know, knowing that you've got that belief in him.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, you see it throughout the course of the week, and he understands the system, right? So it's not where we were first installing. It's like, okay, you know, here's your alignment, this is your assignment. And then, okay, in this call, like, here's your alignment, here's your assignment. So now he understands you know, okay, I need to make these two calls look the same. Here's are my responsibilities, and here is how I can disguise which one I'm doing to the quarter, like from the quarterback's perspective of what he's seeing. So, you know, I just think his savviness in that, and really it's throughout the course of the game, like you get the cadence, you get exactly what the quarterback's looking at. You see how they're trying to attack you throughout the course of the game. So he was really able to hone in on some of the RPOs we were getting, and really was causing the quarterback to hold the ball at times. We were able to get some sacks. Those guys up front getting after the quarterback and really transitioning from, you know, run to pass on those play actions. That those all tie in together. You know what I mean? Our coverage is good because our front is good. Our front is good because our coverage is good. It's a complete team effort in that aspect.
And then if I could get one more, Brett talked on Saturday, I guess, of just how this journey with Isaiah Gay has been. He said there was at times Brett was frustrated, at times Isaiah was frustrated. I guess just how have you observed this season for Isaiah? Where's he grown? And maybe what was some of the source of some of that frustration, do you think?
You know, I think he has grown the most when he has completely trusted the process, right? You know, Isaiah is as talented a guy as we got on our roster. And when he made the decision to just be mature and trust the process and trust what we were preaching, like he's really started to flourish. I mean, you saw the things that he was able to do on Saturday, you know, and it was just him doing his job, right? Nothing more, nothing less. And then obviously taking advantage of some one-on-one matchups. So couldn't be more happy for him. I know he's worked really hard at it, and he really has embraced, you know, the culture, the program, and what Coach Kane and Coach Bielema has been teaching him. And so, you know, hats off to him for being coachable and buying in, and also hats off to Coach Kane and Coach B for sticking with him and really taking an interest in his growth.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to ask you, after a game like that where you were really close to a shutout for the first time in a Big Ten opponent in 20 years, what does that mean for your guys as you try to build this kind of defense?
Man, all we were trying to do is just get a win, man. Like I said, it's a 2-possession game, and so, you know, you're on pins and needles until the game is over. You know what I mean? You know, it wasn't until after the game when you find out like how long it's been since you had a shutout. You're like, man, we were one play away from getting that done. But you know, I couldn't be more proud of the way that you guys executed on Saturday. And really couldn't be more proud of the staff. You know, I've been saying this has been a collective effort since I got here, and really that 12T personnel that they really like to run the ball out of. You know, Coach Boo sort of took that personnel grouping by the reins, and he had came up with some adjustments that fit with what we were doing. You know, not only from a front perspective and a run stopper perspective, but also a way to get out and play soft coverage. So, you know, a lot of those, you know, a lot of the stats that ended up at the end of the game are a direct result of his studies and his implementation. We're bringing some adjustments to the table. Like I've been saying, we got guys in that room that are capable coordinators, and I feel blessed to be a part of that room and to learn from those guys. And you know, I know obviously, like being the face of the defense side of the ball, I get a lot of the public accolades, but those guys do a lot of work behind the scenes, and the way they get their guys to go play and execute on Saturday. You know, what happened Saturday does not get done without the collective totality of the unit.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Ryan, if I could get one more, we've seen this hashtag ID 131. What is that?
Just some we keep in house with what our defense is. You guys, if you do your research, you guys can. I'm sure you can crack the riddle. But it's something the guys have embraced. You know, we got wristbands that say it, and that's what we break down to. It's who we are.
You're really going to send me down this internet rabbit hole to try to figure this out?
You got some extra free. I know if I got some free time on my hands to look it up, I know you got it. It's gonna take you 5 minutes. I promise.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If we guess it, will you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I think this is the 131st year of
Ding,
Illinois.
ding, 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 ding. Didn't take you 5 minutes. There you go. We are the 131st defense at the University of Illinois, and we came up with basically a creed of what we wanted to be identified as. This dates back to January when we first got here. It's just something to galvanize, to group us together, and something that this locker room will be a part of forever.
I'll collect my prize next week.
I got you. I'll get you your favorite sandwich from whatever sandwich shop you like in town. I'll send you a DoorDash. Just text me your address and they'll come your way. All right, guys.